Hello friends, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Claudia and this is Katie Counseling. Welcome back. Happy February, second to last semester of my grad program, things like that. I always want to make these videos so when people watch them later on, it's not really like the exact time and date, it's the part of the program that I'm in, so they're able to identify with like the process, right? So yeah, before I get started today, I wanna talk about finding your style as a therapist, using things like therapist aid to help you in your practice. And then what was the last thing? I'll think about it when I get there. But yeah, follow me on Katie Counseling over on Instagram, my podcast over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever podcasts are streamed. And yeah, you're here on YouTube, so let's get started. So right now I've been thinking like, okay, what type of information and things that will help you guys out, like what can I bring to the table right now? Because I've been thinking about like, okay, these are the classes I'm taking, this is what I'm doing, this is the internship process, but I haven't had a chance to really dive into like what I'm really learning, what it is like becoming a therapist, the growing pains of becoming a therapist, And my goal with this channel is obviously taking you guys through this, but when I'm done, I really want to like put together something like a program that will help people through the whole process. And obviously I'm still in the process, so it's hard for me to like share everything, like nitty-gritty and things like that, you know what I mean, like the ins and outs of everything. I feel like when I'm done, I'll be more comfortable sharing certain things, and I will be able to look at it from like a perspective of I've done all of it, let's like break it up into pieces and let's deliver it to whoever needs this help, right? So that's kind of my plan, and until then, where you guys are gonna have to meet me where I'm at, and I am at, not struggling, but man, just when you're being observed and you have a session versus you're not being observed is day and night for you, for the client. And I know, and as you guys know, if you're students or you want to go into this profession or you've done some type of counseling before, you know that when you build proper rapport with the client, things can really get going. You can really work on everything and you can apply your skills and do whatever, you know what I mean? But for this process and internship and everything like that, you're under a microscope, which is not as scary as it seems, but you overthink, or at least I overthink, okay? I sometimes, I'm learning the difference between using my clinical skills and sounding like a therapist versus just letting it flow, right? Because they'll tell you, okay, you just have a conversation. And I'm like, okay, well, if I have a conversation and I'm done, you're gonna tell me I didn't apply all these clinical skills. So this is a part of building your way of counseling, like having your own style, because you do have to just kind of have a conversation, but you do have to ask the right questions, and you do have to, and it's hard to explain it, but not integrate the theory, but use certain things. So like with like CBT, right? What I always like to do, and this is my favorite skill that I use all the time, is if somebody starts going off on, well, when I get there, it's going to be hard for me because of XYZ. So I always like to challenge their thoughts. And I'm like, okay, so when you get there, what are 2 other things you can do other than what you just said? And then you have the client think about it. And you have to learn how to sit in silence. Because right now, the client has to come up with those answers in their head. And it can get really awkward because you just want to kind of keep pushing the conversation. You can want to be like, oh, okay, yeah, hold on, I got a text. Okay, I know that. Okay. Yeah, you know, so that's another thing too, is learning how to sit in silence when you ask those questions. So let's say the client gives you the answer. Okay, well, I guess I could go over there instead of doing this. Don't give them an answer right away. Let them think about that. Let them play that out in their head and then see what they come up with. So it's things like that, but when you're in the moment, sometimes, you know, it's like, as an intern, like, let's say you have to do 5 things as a therapist, you do like 2 of them, right? Like 2 out of 5, you'll be like, okay, well, I used good CBT technique, and I paused for, you know, for reflection, allowing the client to like think about what's going on, but I still feel like I missed something else. So allowing your thoughts to kind of settle and not be so overwhelmed by thinking about what you didn't do is key. So even and I know I feel like I'm rambling now, but I hope this is making sense to you guys that are in this profession. But yeah, structuring what you're gonna say, how you're gonna say it, doesn't always work, but it is clutch to have these things, because there's clients that will just give you, how's everything going? What would we like to talk about today? It's fine. Okay, you have mentioned XYZ in our prior session. Is that something that you are still, you know, working on, or is something that you would like to discuss? No, it's fine. Everything's good. So you really have to you have to have those skills in certain things to get the conversation started. One thing that I'm learning to do is follow my intuition, because when that overthinking starts of, I have to be doing the counseling thing, you can miss certain things, right? So just always make sure that you breathe. There was a recording that I did, and I was breathing right here with my chest. I like looked so scared, and my supervisor looks at me in the video and she goes, Claudia, take a breath. Look at that. That looks uncomfortable. So, you know, growing pains, you guys. You can be the best intern, you can be the straight A student, you can be whoever, but you will sure as heck be humbled by certain things. But that's the point of it. You have to learn. And if you have a good supervisor or multiple supervisors, they will tell you this is a part of it. They will tell you how to handle it. And then you just grow through it and go on to the next thing that you have to learn. So, yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is utilizing like therapist aid and things like that for clients. And I know in school we learn, you know, oh, get these worksheets, do this, do this, do that. I'm learning that those things are great, but make sure that the client wants it. You can recommend certain things for a client. Like if you're using therapist aid, you can go on there and let's say you look up anger management, and you see that the client's struggling, that you might want to print something out for them, so in your next session they can bring it back and you guys can discuss it. But always make sure that the client wants to do this, because if you're just going to give them something, it's kind of like one of those things. Hi guys, future Claudia here. Yesterday I had to tend to a phone call. I didn't get to keep recording, but pretty much to end the video, I just wanted to, I guess, talk about, you know, like the whole video is about finding what kind of therapist I am. And really, like, when you're in it and you're doing it, it's kind of weird, because you're getting all the textbook stuff, and then you're getting the real life stuff, and then you're getting the supervision input. So don't be afraid to feel weird. Don't be afraid to feel like you're not perfect. Don't be afraid to look at your supervisor and be like, that is so effortless. I know how to do that exactly that way. But you don't, not yet. You know, you might get there here and there, but like, you know, you're not always going to be perfect, and that's okay. The one thing that they do tell me is like, just don't sound clinical. I'm like, I don't sound clinical when I speak to the client. I sound clinical when I'm explaining it to you. So those are all the learning curves, which are amazing and laughable sometimes, because, you know, I'll be worried about something a lot, and then they'll be like, this is a part of it. This is why you're here for a year, right? So with all that said, I'm just sharing my experience of how I'm going through this. With the therapist aid, it's an application or a website. It's really useful for like beginning, you know, like worksheets and things that you need, psychoed things for your clients, workbook stuff for them. But try to build your own resources with your clients. You know, like every time you do something, or if you come across a case, look it up. What's the best treatment for this diagnosis or whatever, you know? And then save it as like a PDF. Create a folder for everything. So the next time you see a similar client, you're able to kind of help them more easily, I guess, without doing the extra research. But it's always good to do research. And that's definitely something we're learning. And even in our faculty supervision, we and my cohort mates, we get different cases, and we talk about them, and we have to learn about them. And there's going to be things that you've never kind of experienced or heard of, and you have to do your research. And that's the whole point of internship. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. My name's Claudia. Follow me at Katie Counseling. You guys do a really good job at reaching out to me. I do my best to get back to you. I usually do. A lot of the messages will be in the request folder, and I don't see them unless I see like the red request thing. They're not in my like primary or general folder for Instagram. So if it takes me a day, I'm sorry. I do my best. You guys are great. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.